Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll be showing you what we got up to for our 2 weeks in Belize. It started with a charter flight from Cancun, Mexico and landed in Belize City. We got picked up by Jared's uncle who treated us to a delicious local meal. We then headed to the hotel and the next day we began our adventure properly. First stop was San Ignacio. This is halfway across the country from Belize City and the drive would take about 4 hours, so we made some stops along the way. First we stopped at Belize Zoo. The zoo was awesome and had some of Belize's native animals. We saw several tapirs and some rescued animals. Our guide was excellent too and told us everything we wanted to know.
This is the national tree of Guatemala. Also was a sacred tree for the Mayans. This was a tree of life. They believed that the branches of the tree was holding up the 13 heavens above.
The next stop was caving. We went to collect our tubes and then had a short hike to the starting point.
That are crystals. If you touch that, it dies, just like coral.
Yeah.
So once it sparkles,
It's alive.
it's alive, correct? These are called curtain stalactites. See?
The water was absolutely freezing, but we quickly got used to it. The cave was pitch black, so we really had to rely on the headlamps to guide the way.
And the holes up there, those would be bat holes. Bats live in those holes, right?
After about 30 minutes gliding through the cave, we saw some light. The views and sounds were unimaginable. It certainly felt like the jungle. After this, we made the final push to San Ignacio. By the time we arrived at our hostel, it was already dark. The hostel is called Parrot Nest Lodge and was an incredible experience. We stayed in a tree house, yeah, an actual tree house, and it was really cozy. We had a double bed and a few bedside tables. This big hut here behind me is where the toilets are. Just down here, the toilet and the shower. That noise that you can hear, it's a monkey. So we recently checked into our new hotel in Belize and we are staying in a treehouse. So our bathroom, shower, all of that kind of stuff is outside. And I have just finished brushing my teeth with the guests. Have a look. And as I finished brushing my teeth, I looked back and look who I saw.
Just give him a kiss and must turn into a prince.
No, he's sleeping. His eyes are closed. I don't want to disturb him. It did take me a while to get used to sleeping in the jungle, but I absolutely loved it. The next day, we had an early breakfast before heading out to the famous ATM caves. Inside the caves, there are actual skeletons from thousands of years ago, but unfortunately, due to the local laws, no one is allowed to take a camera inside. Getting to the caves was quite difficult. We had a rough off-road drive for about an hour, followed by a 45-minute walk to the entrance of the cave. Finally, we had to wade through the cave itself. There were times when only our heads were above the water. It was an exhilarating experience for sure, but not for the faint-hearted. This was a very long day, so after this we headed back to the hostel for some rest. The next day we headed out to the Mountain Pine Ridge Forest Reserve to see the waterfalls. This was another long drive. Once we arrived, the tour guide told us to be very careful as the rocks were super slippery. This was certainly proved true as Jared's mom slipped on the rocks and cut her forehead, so we had to take her to the hospital for some stitches. After a little rest, we headed to Snorkelling, an ancient Mayan archaeological site. Getting there was quite cool. We had to cross a river using a man-powered raft. Snorkelling is similar to the temples we visited in Mexico, but a bit smaller in scale. However, what's really cool is that we actually managed to climb to the top. The whole site wasn't that big and only needs about an hour to visit. From the top, you can see the border between Belize and Guatemala, and the views were awesome. This was our final day in San Ignacio. The next day we headed back to Belize City before taking the boat to Key Corca. Key Corca was a very relaxed place. We spent about 4 days here, mostly eating, drinking, swimming and relaxing. We even went snorkeling with some sharks. Belize has the second largest barrier reef in the world, and the boat took us right to it. We got to swim with some nurse sharks and saw many different types of fish. Belize is also a famous destination for diving. After our time in Key Corca, we headed back to Belize City. We spent a few nights here, spending some time with family. The final place we visited was Crooked Tree. This is a very relaxing area set in the middle of a lake. We took a boat trip to see the crocodiles and birds. This is a very nice place to wind down. The food here was delicious and everything here was homegrown. We also did a day trip to Altunja. This is another Mayan site. It's a bit smaller than Sunantinich, but it's a lot scarier to climb up as the stairs were super steep. While we were here, we managed to see a famous celebrity. For all of you who know the famous dancehall queen Spice, she was in Belize, and yes, we met her. We also saw some of the Love and Hip Hop crew too. So that was it. Our time in Belize was great and we would recommend it to anyone who is considering going. Thanks for watching.